Willkommen, bienvenue, and welcome back to Blast Off with Light. And I'm here at that bunker that I found at the, I think it was the end of last episode, yeah. Man, these places are dangerous. If you take the elevator down, well, you're probably gonna die. Well, I don't know, you might be better prepared than I am. But, I mean, these places are really dangerous. This level, it's okay, but it still might make you explode. In here, we got ourselves a laser program. I don't think we need two, so I'll leave the other one here. And lots of seeds. Now, I don't think there are any seeds here that I don't already have. So if I find out that there is, I'll just come back. You'll notice that there's lava in these corners. I used that to light up this area without actually having to come down here. It didn't completely light it up, but it did it enough to prevent the spawning of enough things that I could just be like, okay, just come down here, kill a few things, be on our way. And in the chest, we've got some eyes of Galaga. We're gonna need those. Another pair of assembly controllers. We've already got one of those. We don't need this one. Yeah. So these places are really dangerous, and they made me realize I should probably do some work on my armaments. So let's head back home. It's not the way home. This way. So on the way, let's talk about a couple of things. Some things that I didn't notice in the update to 1.3, because I had a bit of a stockpile of a couple of, well, important resources to me. They might not be important to everybody else, but I had a halfway decent stockpile of runes and mana steel and mana pearls. I had at least a few of each just laying around, so whenever I needed to make anything, it wasn't a big deal. Ooh, here's a second bunker that I found, and I have not explored it yet because of my experience with that first one. On the second level, I ran into a sorcerer, and man, did it hand me my head on a platter. It struck me with a Wither 3 effect, and I don't have any cows, so there wasn't any milk for me to counteract it with. So yeah, I ran to a safe place and died and synced back to my base, and then came back and got my stuff. Yeah, those guys are nasty. But I had a decent stockpile of those resources, so I didn't necessarily notice when some of the recipes had changed. It appears that Karma Charger is working on making Betania a more late game mod, I guess, would be the best way to put it. There's basically a huge wall into blocking the entrance into Serious Betania now, because some of the most basic resources that you should be able to just craft right away, you very much can't. For example, I come up to this pool and go, hey, I've got a diamond. Give me a mana diamond. And it goes, no, I will not. You give it some iron, and it goes, no, I will give you nothing for that. Yeah, if I had a ender pearl on me, it would do the same thing. It would go, no, you cannot have anything for your ender pearl. You can, however, have mana pearls for your eyes of Galaga. Ugh. So, yeah. Now, instead of mana steel costing some iron and some mana pearls costing some ender pearls and mana, no. Mana pearls now require... oops. Mana pearls now require Eye of Galaga and a significant chunk of mana, which requires the magma creams, the fermented spider eyes, the gas tears, the ender pearls, and the blaze powder. Jeez. Now, for the diamonds, we actually need to compress the diamonds to get the mana diamonds. So for that, you just take it into a crafting bench, and there you go. Thankfully, This compressed diamond gets you 2 mana diamonds in the end. But it can never be just that easy. You actually also need magical wood. I'm just going to make a lot of it because I've been over at the Blaze Farm getting all sorts of books. It's a good thing too because I still haven't gotten a single book with fortune on it. None. Let's make sure there aren't any in here because that would be thoroughly embarrassing. Oh. That's not one that I want to put in there. How did you... Oh, some of my good books are mixed in. Good books stay separate. Okay. So you take your bookcase, put it in the middle, put your gold, I believe it's around the edges. And then you put in your enchanted books. And depending on the quality of the enchantments... do I have my magnetism on here? Good. It'll give you a different amount of wood. We've seen that in a previous episode. That was a huge find because now we can just make good books. Yeah, that should be plenty. So now we look at the uses of this compressed diamond. You can make diamond wire, diamond gears, diamond pipes. Ooh. Also interesting things in here, but you put it into the runic altar with 4 pieces of magic wood, and it gives you 2 mana diamonds. So we pop that and here. So we go 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. Then we grab our wand and set it going. Now that will do for the first part, but we're going to need another one for the second part of what we're going to do today. So yes, need better weapons and potentially armor, but I do like the Kreknorite armor. The fire protection and the fire immunity is really quite good. Now, I don't know if you keep the fire immunity set bonus if you remove the other enchantments. I'm going to have to do a little testing on that. Do I have... I do! Good for me. Okay. Toss that on. Hit it. And we get our mana diamonds. Now let's get another set going. Okay, so we've got our mana diamonds. We've got our mana pearls. Got a few extra diamonds from scouring about. Next up, we're going to need the mana steel. Now this, unfortunately, comes back to our favorite material in the world. Yay! Galgadorian metal. There's no way around it. We need a good way of getting it. Now, the recipe for that has changed, so it has become easier, for me at least, to attain. It keeps shifting around which thing about getting it is difficult. And that's ready to go. Here you go. And I missed. Okay, got a couple of extra mana diamonds. So, now, to make the Galgadorian metal, we're going to need some obsidian. How much? We're going to need 2 pieces of it. So I believe we're going to need 8 pieces of obsidian. And you can see, my obsidian farm is doing its job. It's making enough obsidian for me to just grab it when I need it. So we need this obsidian. We're going to need some ender pearls as well. Yeah, I showed you that last time. Oh, there's a couple. And that, let's put these in the middle. Gets us the ender infused obsidian. So let's put that in here. Okay. Now, does it need magic wood? I think it might need magic wood in the middle. And it needs metal And what does it need at the bottom? Well, let's get the metal while we're thinking of it. So in here, we've got ourselves some alumite. This is made from aluminum, iron, and obsidian. So still more obsidian. Somehow a chicken escaped. I don't know how. So that was the alumite. We should have our other materials somewhere. Apparently not here. So we put the alumite here, I think. The other materials are probably over here. Yeah, reinforced metal and osmium. Thought I put the osmium in that chest. Apparently I did not put the osmium in this chest. I set it to cook. Ah, I left it in the furnace. That's that. Oh, right. Brass. The most annoying part of this. I think I only need the 2. Pretty sure that's all I need. Because right now, the only real reliable way of making it is with the actual Flaxbeard stuff. And that's a whole bunch of chop, 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 right click, right click, right click, right click. You can make the copper and the zinc separately in various smeltery type things, but unfortunately, this is the wrong brass. We want the other type of brass. This type of brass. You use up 3 copper and a zinc to get 1 brass ingot. Not 4, 1. In the Flaxbeard setup, you actually get the 4. The way you're supposed to. Okay, so reinforced, osmium, and block brass. Now that gets us these tiny little lumps of Galgador. So yeah, out of this, the reinforced metal is actually right now the most annoying. Because you need to get the stabilized metal, which comes from iron and hardened mesh, and then you've got refined hardener, which there are a couple of ways of making this, which either involve obsidian or diamonds, or using the pressure chamber. Either way, it's a little bit annoying. And then you can take your lump of Galgador, toss it on the anvil, grab yourself a hammer, pow, 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 and you get yourself the slightly larger pieces of Galgadorian stuff. And those you can't just throw in here either. It's like, no. You actually have to take it over to the alchemical catalyst to get mana steel. This is thoroughly backwards. The alchemical catalyst is supposed to come much later in the Betania progression, but now it's right at the beginning. And it's got a totally different recipe now. Lots of living rocks, some magic wood, and a cauldron. So the whole progression of Betania is a little weird now. But you can probably tell from the things that I got what it is that I'm going to be doing. That's right, we're making Terra Steel. Because having a Terra Steel sword will be real nice. Now, the other thing that needs the 2 mana diamonds, I didn't even know existed until I was just browsing through the Lexic Botania. Did not know about it. And it is pretty cool. Okay, so we're using up a lot of mana to do this, but the Blaze Farm, it's really good for mana, it's really good for iron. I'm really pleased with how it turned out. Come on, do it. Come on. Do you not? Okay. I was starting to get worried it didn't have enough mana. Oh, that's good. We still got that. Okay. Yeah, let's take a look at the recipe. I have a feeling this will take... not the recipe, the uses. I have a feeling the sword will take, yeah, a living wood twig. And we have one. Convenient. So, twig and swordify. Time to strike! Choo. That's right. It is also a ranged weapon. And it uses up some of my mana, and this is not the first Terra Steel I've made recently. This is actually what led me to find that the recipes had changed. I made myself the greater bands of mana and aura, so I get more mana faster. Now, for these mana diamonds, I actually don't want mana diamonds. I want dragon stones. In addition, I don't have any on me. To the chests. There's 2. 3. 3 string is what I need. Really? Okay. And I believe either a living wood twig or potentially a dreamwood twig. Not sure. For a crystal bow. Living wood is good. Here we are. Living wood, dragon stones, and string. Now, you'd think with the change of recipe, I would be more hesitant to make these late game Betania items. But the Terra Steel and, well, yeah, the Terra Steel and those things aren't that much more expensive than the regular mana steel. So, if I'm going to make something, I'm going to make the green stuff. Pow, 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 pow. Yeah. Ooh, I wonder if those are... affected by Tiny Planet. That would be interesting. Now, let's check on our mana situation. We don't have a whole lot. Let's see if we can add our ring to that and help it out at least a little. It was a little. Because I don't know how much the enchantment is going to take. I would love to be able to enchant this right now. So I'm actually going to steal some of the mana from... Oh, really? Come on now. I'm going to steal a little bit of the mana from these other pools. Yeah, I'm going to steal some of this mana. I'm going to be able to recoup it after this episode, no trouble. I'm going to steal some of this such that I know the enchanting is going to go through. Because I did a little testing and I found that you can, in fact, put multiple books onto a single item. Which means I can take all of those fancy bow-type books in my inventory and toss them all onto the crystal bow. Now, I'm fairly confident that it's not going to take 3/4 of a pool to put those 4 books onto the bow. So let's just make that happen. So we put the bow in the enchanter. We drop all of the books onto the ground. And then we hit the enchanter. And then it draws tons of mana in. Let's watch it go down. I'm getting a little nervous. Let's start stealing a little mana just in case. Oh, going along. And it's done! Give me back my ring. Pick up the books. And let's grab it with an empty hand. And we've got ourselves... Ooh. Somebody hit me with a web. Was it you? Of course it was you. Okay, so we now have a fancy enchanted crystal bow. Power 5, Flame 1, Magnetization, and Punch. So we can get these out of the way. Now what were his other attributes? Vengeance, Darkness, and Weber. So he's going to hit me back. Doesn't seem to cut through webs all that well. So it's kind of fun just to mess with the pigman that's captured in there. Okay, so he's at 29 and 10. So that was 19 damage from the bow. I don't think the sword does that much. Yeah, no. The sword's ranged attack doesn't do nearly that much. But the crystal bow has some interesting properties. So if I take these arrows and just throw them on the ground, well, it's magnetized, so I picked them up anyway. But the point I was trying to make is that this bow doesn't use arrows. I can just put them away, and I still can just pow. Pow. Oh, lead your target, Light. Lead your target. Oh, and yeah, whenever I right-click an item onto myself, like I did with the ring, that triggers the weird jittery motion bug. So at least it's reproducible. Also, the crystal bow draws back faster than an ordinary bow. So let's get a side-by-side comparison going. Let's grab some arrows. So side-by-side comparison. 1, 2, pow. Versus 1, pow. 1, pow. So this is a really nice bow. And as you can probably see from the blue mana bar, it doesn't really use up much mana at all to generate the arrows. That's how it makes them. It's not just regular infinity, it's mana-based infinity, so you don't have to worry about getting the infinity enchantment. Pretty nice. So let's check on our mana levels. This one is really low, but these are pretty decent. So after this episode, I'll likely go back to the Blaze Farm, keep trying to get a Fortune Book, and get my mana reserves back up. But given the changes in recipes to the Mana Steel, the Mana Pearl, and the Mana Diamond, it is unlikely that I'll be doing too much more progress in Betania in the near future. I need to get my technology sorted out. So I've got the plants mostly going. I need some more rain plants, but that'll be easy. I've got plenty of bone meal. That way I can make the automation setup with all the various arms and lasers and whatnot. That will make it vastly easier, at least in theory, to get the Galgadorian metals. So once we've got a clear way of getting the Galgadorian metal, then we can make ourselves some drones, which will help out with lots of automation tasks and make a particular massive mana farm much easier to make. But that's all I've got for this episode, so I will see you in the next episode of Blast Off with Light.